Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach and welcome to the weekend preview. And let's straight up be honest, this game can be a cold hard prick sometimes. Come on, what is going on? Where are the SuperCoach gods? 4 rounds in, 5 rounds in, coming up to round 5. We've been dealt a cruel blow with an enormous amount of cash cows dropped or injured at the moment and very little coming back, which absolutely brutalises all our sides when we're trying to build cash on the benches, get a bit of consistency going, just sort of look over our squad and see money being made all over the joint. That is a real unknown at the moment and has really thrown a spanner in the works. Not only does it throw a spanner if those options don't come up early in the season, but if they pop up and then get dropped after 2, 3, 4 games, it's probably even worse. Now, the names: Harley Ballock, Braden Pruce, Taranto, Florent, Parsons suspended, Newman, Robbie Fox as well. Cruiser might hurt a few, Sam Mitchell might hurt a few, Tom Hickey might hurt a few, but I think largely it's been our cash cows that have really dealt us a blow. What do we get into return? Not much. Paddy Ryder comes in, will help a couple. Lewis Malik and debutant Aaron Black, a likely starter. Not much at all. Really slim pickings. Now, it kills us on many fronts because it halts our money getting made and it also halts our ability to really upgrade at a rapid rate. Now, I wouldn't panic with Pruce. He was just managed and I'd expect him to be back. As was Taranto, I think. I'm pretty sure he was from memory. As was Hickey. But look, Florent dropped. Fox had a knee. Newman dropped, which I was shocked with. Really shocked about. Of course, a few Sydney Swans players were always going to come back, but I didn't think we'd lose so many all at once. And Parsons, of course, could be a nice little cash cow, providing he comes back into the Cats lineup when he returns from a 2-week suspension. So, what do we do? What do we do? I think in this case, we've really got to just bite the bullet and be somewhat patient, make correctional trades where we feel necessary, and not to mention Dustin Martin, enormous cloud over his fitness. Will Mitch Hannon play? Another sort of unknown. I think Essendon and Collingwood, of course, if you don't know, we don't have the teams for Richmond, Melbourne and Collingwood and Essendon. I'm doing this Thursday night, so I don't have those sides at the moment. Not too much should go wrong with them. You just never know, but there aren't too many guys that you would think, aside from Martin and maybe a couple others that aren't as popular, you wouldn't think too much could go wrong. Nonetheless, we've got enough on our plate. And back to my original point, what do? I wouldn't hit the panic button fully. I'd be concerned. But these guys, they can come back at any stage. I think Ed Vickers-Willis was another guy who comes in. But I think with these fellas who are coming out, I would hold patience with them at least for a couple of weeks or until something better arises. And the fact is, Tom Williamson is probably the only one on the bubble, really, that's worth noting, picking up. So at this stage, I would be saying, yes, it's frustrating that these guys who have only made us anywhere from 40 to 100,000 are out. You just never know what can happen. They can be back in the side within a couple of weeks, and then it wouldn't have been worth making a rash trade. The only time I would endorse a rapid-fire knee-jerk reaction trade is if we had a few cash cows who are on the bubble and we couldn't miss. But at this stage, it doesn't look like that is the case. And a few of the guys, Ballock was out injured as well with a hip. There's a few of these guys who could be back sooner rather than later. So it's very frustrating and a real hit to our cash generation at this crucial stage of the season. But we've just got to ride the bump there, stay patient. Also keep your eye on a few guys like Heath Shaw, Alex Rance, who else have we got here? Hanbury and Treloar, a few guys who are premiums of the past that are falling down in price. Also worth noting that perhaps this next 2 to 3 weeks might be our best opportunities to get in Dangerfield and Pendlebury if you do not have them. Of course, they scored 95 and 90 last week, so I wouldn't think we get too many subpar or sub-100 games from them. So I would think, certainly off the back of their high break-evens over the next couple of weeks until they rid those mid-90 scores, I think they'll probably be at their cheapest in a couple of weeks. So maybe you can formulate your trade plan around that, or at least getting in a few of those players for premiums. Of course, we've got bigger fish to fry. We really got to think about where that money is going to come from first off. But I really do think that we've probably just got to say, look, it's annoying, but there isn't a quick fix at this stage. And I think we've probably just got to cross our fingers that we haven't been hit too hard. Cross our fingers that a Jake Barrett comes back in or a Brett Eddy comes back in, and just hope that they do and make the best with what we've got. And that's pretty much the message this week, is how you deal with those cash cows. It is really disappointing, particularly at this stage when, as I said off the top, you really want to be seeing players making you heaps of cash and getting that rookie ramp rolling nicely. That's not going to be the case. But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think we should be patient and at least give it a couple of weeks, or as I said, until, say, another rookie at the rookie price really rises themselves up as a must pick. So I think that's probably where things should be at. Other than that, there didn't seem to be anything absolutely crucial. At this stage, it really does just depend on how your team is setting up. Of course, you want to be looking at how much money you're making, who are some of the premium guys that you're looking at to get in. There are a couple of ones that you should be just keeping an eye on, where their price is at, where their break even is at, how you can make the money to bridge that gap from upgrade to a premium. So that's probably really where we want to be at. Gear ourselves up like a chess match. We want to be looking a few steps ahead, a few weeks ahead. Gear yourself up, get the team ready, get the cash in the bank ready if you need to make a couple of trades to then make an upgrade in a few weeks when a bloke's bottomed out, etc. So really take that line of thinking into the weekend. One thing I will touch on too is for all Jared Ruffhead owners, or any mid-price option that you took a bit of a risk on and isn't paying out at this stage. Jared Ruffhead is, of course, the one who affects me the most. He's in my side. And there will be others out there that are probably thinking the same. You know, I've got a guy, he's a mid-pricer. He's not really doing what I expected when I first picked him. It was worth the risk. It hasn't worked out. You know, what do you do? I think it's probably now time to bite the bullet. If they're not starting to fire now, they've been given a reasonable sample size to do so. And probably, if you've got them in mid-price, as long as they haven't absolutely bundled out, then they've probably plateaued at their price or maybe made you just a little bit. And of course, that's not what we want. So we've probably got to turf them. So in Ruffhead's case, I'm a little unsure what I'm going to do myself. I'm looking at Tom Lynch of the Gold Coast. You know, you don't want to get sucked in off 1 week, but this bloke is touted to be the next champion key forward of the game, if he isn't already. He's a guy who's going to rocket up in price, and his price didn't move too much off the 160 due to a poor score. I think it was a 43 in round 2. So this could be a great opportunity to get him at a cheap price. He seems to be the main man tempting me. Of course, if you're searching for forward line options, really the only ones you can bank on at this stage seem to be McRae and Dalhouse and Rewalt. Now, I think Rewalt, you know, he's so expensive at the moment. I really do feel like we can get him around 500, 490 in a few weeks' time once he gets rid of that 161. So I may hold off on that, but look, as far as philosophy goes, that's what you want to do. I think, as you probably know, listening into my podcast, I'm always a guy who says, give them time, be patient, don't do a knee-jerk reaction. But I think in this case, we've waited 4 weeks. If they haven't delivered what we thought or hoped they would, now's the time to turf them. So I'll be getting Jared Ruffhead, so I'll be backing up that statement with my own team. Jared Ruffhead will go. And then you really just got to assess your other options. So that's a bit of a wrap-up for me. It is a bit difficult not knowing a couple of the teams. There's 4 sides that we don't have teams to. So let's hope Martin plays for all you Martin owners out there. Of course, if he does, he's another bloke after he's 55. He's another guy that people may be looking to get into their sides over the next month or so. So certainly look to pick him off at a cheaper price also. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Much appreciated. The real takeaway message here is don't panic about the cash cow situation, because rookies can change like the wind. 1 week, it looks as good as anything. We're flying with rookies playing all over the ground, making us money. Next week, it's awful. They've been dropped. They've suffered a little knock. we've got to give them a couple of weeks just to see if it's a 1 weeker or if they can really show something in the twos. Jakey Barrett had 30, kicked 2 goals, didn't come into the side, but I think another good performance there, and you would have to think he puts himself into the frame. That'll go the same for many others who go back to Neefle or Samful or whatever it may be. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Much appreciated. We're nearly up to the 800 mark with subscribers. Really pumped about that, so thanks for getting on board. I'll be back with my press conference, which will probably be Tuesday night or Wednesday, given it's so far away. But can't wait for those Anzac Day games and this whole weekend of footy. It's going to be great. Going to get along to the Monday game, which is fantastic. Watch a bit of footy. And I think that'll be a cracker of a game. One of the best games of the round. So all the best for your footy, your weekend in footy, and all the best for your SuperCoach as well. Hope you have a good week, and I'll catch you guys soon.